Congratulations, class of 2020. My name is Mitchell Silver, and I'm the New York City Parks Commissioner. I would like to start by offering my greetings to President Ralph, to family and friends, to distinguished faculty at Peace University, university staff, and our special guest, you, who are honoring today, the William Peace University class of 2020. I wish I were there with you in person to see your joy and witness the pride of your families. But these are difficult times, and so you know, I have a few staff members here in front of me, so I'm not just speaking to the trees. So you know, I'm in Central Park, on a roof in Central Park, bringing you this address. William Peace University has a long, distinguished history, and you, the graduating class of 2020, are now part of a 164-year legacy where 96% of graduates are employed or move on to graduate school within the first year of graduating. Thank you, Peace University administration, faculty, and staff for nurturing these students during a very difficult year. I know the last year has been a challenge, and we're living in an age of disruption, a global pandemic, civil and social unrest, and economic and political stress. But through it all, you, the class of 2020, persevered. To respond to this age of disruption, the terms equity, diversity, and inclusion have been elevated as a 21st century crusade for justice. Equity means fairness. Diversity means the value of different perspectives. And inclusion means to be welcoming to all. Please remember as you start your career, diversity, equity, and inclusion is not something you do, but it's who you are. Earning a college degree is an amazing accomplishment. Not everyone achieves that milestone, and I want to share a personal story as to why earning your degree is so important and special. I am the Commissioner of New York City Parks. Before that, I was Chief Operating Officer and Playing Director for the City of Raleigh, but it didn't start that way. You're now looking at a high school dropout. I never finished high school. No prom, no yearbook. My mother died of cancer when I was 12, and I was confused, I was angry, and I was lost. I remember the day I dropped out of high school, and back then, my father, or at least a parent, had to go with you to officially sign the paperwork. And I remember vividly, after signing the paperwork and leaving the building, my father turned to me and said, "You had to drop out on Pearl Harbor Day." My father was a World War II veteran, and I knew at that point I broke my father's heart. I also remembered during that time when I knew I had to make it up to my father that my mother, on her deathbed, actually recorded a tape. And on that tape, she encouraged all of us to go to college. And so with that inspiration from my mother and the disappointment in my father, I did pursue a GED and ultimately got my diploma. I decided it was time to go back to college. Things got very interesting. I applied to Pratt Institute with my GED and not so great SAT scores, and during the interview, probably the worst experience of my life, I did not do well, and they actually told me I was not college material. I was brokenhearted, and as I was leaving campus, I was looking down, trying to figure out what was I going to tell my father when I got home, because he knew I was going for the interview, he was excited I was going to go for architecture. What was I going to tell my father? And as I'm walking, there was a gentleman standing on the stoop of a building called North Hall, and he said, "Young man, come over here." And he says, "Are you okay?" Now, I must have really looked bad because he spotted me right away. He called me over. His name was Kenneth Clay. I told him what happened. I told him how I was concerned about going home to tell the news to my father about the not so good interview. And he said, "We have this program called the Higher Education Opportunity Program. We give 2 scholarships a year. Why don't you apply?" I applied, and I get in. Kenneth Clay is forever one of my heroes. Fast forward to the day I graduated, I was not only class president, but I was also salutatorian at our graduating class. And I remember that night when I was finishing my speech, my father came down from upstate New York and was lying in the bed next to me, sleeping, as I was putting the finishing touches on my speech, thanking him in my speech for never, ever giving up on me and believing in me. So the next day I delivered the speech. I shared stories about our college experience, about Kenneth Clay, and my father never giving up on me. And believe it or not, before I finished the speech, my father comes running up on the stage to give me a hug. There was both the joy of laughter and tears all at the same time. It was now complete. I made my father proud. So that's my story. We all have a story. Every one of you sitting here today has a story. I don't know your journey, but your parents, your grandparents, your siblings and friends do. And more importantly, you know. And I can honestly say everyone I just mentioned are glowing right now and extremely proud of what you have accomplished. I know some of you here today are the first in your family to graduate. Congratulations to you and your entire family. I stated earlier that we're in this age of disruption, but there is a bright spot. That bright spot is you. Your generation. You're different. Previous generations were consumers of goods. We'd like to acquire things. But your generation understands the value of purpose. Your generation will intern for free or volunteer for a cause on one condition. It has to have a purpose. If there is no purpose, you will walk. So I am optimistic about the future because of you. You are a purpose-filled generation, whether your major is biology, business administration, communications, criminology, education, or psychology. That sense of purpose will drive you to do great things. I want to share something with you about that sense of purpose. I had a colleague of mine, a professor, who asked her students the first day of class to write an essay about why they were pursuing that major. 10 years later, there was kind of a reunion. She invited them back. And for those that showed up, she handed out the essay. And they read it. For some of them, tears came to their eyes, but they forgot the reason why they pursued this major or this course of a career in the first place, and it reminded them to go back so that they would never forget their sense of purpose and why they pursued that career. Never forget why you chose your path. Some of you will move on to grad school, others will start your professional career, and eventually be leaders, innovators, healers, educators, or change agents. Be grateful that Peace University prepared you for your next journey. I shared my story, but never forget those who touched you and inspired you along the way. It could be a parent, a sibling, a teacher, a guidance counselor, a coach, or even a friend. Now it's your turn to inspire, lead, and motivate others to be the best that they can be. As I close, I offer a reflection from an author, Marianne Williamson. Our deepest fear is not that we are inadequate. Our deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure. It is our light, not our darkness, that most frightens us. We ask ourselves, who am I to be brilliant, gorgeous, talented, fabulous? Actually, who are you not to be? You are a child of God. Your playing small does not serve the world. There is nothing enlightened about shrinking so other people won't feel insecure around you. We're all meant to shine, as children do. We were born to make manifest the glory of God that is within us. It is not just in some of us, it's in everyone. And we, as we let our light shine, we unconsciously give others permission to do the same. Please remember your sense of purpose and embark as you embark on your next journey. Why? Because your family needs you, your community needs you, your country needs you, and your planet needs you. Thank you and congratulations, class of 2020.